He fought the battle for lower taxes and our free market system. He's always been there. He's always been an avid supporter of the Tea Party movement. He's a candidate. Now let me say this right now, that in our quest to make things fair as patriots, we also invited his opponent to come and speak to us today, but was informed by his staff Mr. Radical had a previous engagement and could not break that schedule. But ladies and gentlemen, seeking to become our congressman, here's the man, the candidate who did come, Mr. Andy Harris.
Thank you very, very much. What a great day to be here. How many of you were at that very first Tea Party in Annapolis in the cold rain last April? Well, let me tell you something. We've come a long way. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're like me, you've been waiting 2 years for November 2nd. You've been waiting 2 years, and we've watched for those 2 years. We've watched President Obama and Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and this Congress begin to dismantle the American dream that you and I love. And that's what they've done. They started just like you have heard, and you have heard some great speakers today, and they've gone over the horrendous things that have happened in the past 2 years that are decaying our freedoms and our liberties and making America one of those countries just like the ones across the Atlantic. Well, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching the same TV as I am, you're seeing what they're doing in France when they don't like what happens. And we've got a president who thinks that's what we ought to do. We ought to just be like the other countries, like France and England and all the rest. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're different. Because when we don't like what happens, we go to the ballot box. And we're going to the ballot box on November 2nd. And we're going to send a message to Washington that enough is enough. That we've got a president. I've wore the uniform for 17 years, and if you remember, Robert just mentioned what happened back in February. If you remember last year, the president famously going over to Europe and apologizing for America. That's not the America my parents came to. They came to this country for the American dream, to the greatest economy in the world, for the strongest force for freedom and liberty that has ever existed on the face of this earth, not for our president to go and apologize for that.
Right.
Now the president says the country's scared. And human nature is when you're scared, you don't think right. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I'm scared, and when I go to that voting machine on November 2nd, I'm thinking very right. Now, but it doesn't stop at the president. I could go on and on and on. Actually, you know, I actually listened to his speech in Nevada from yesterday. He's out there. I don't know how many of you have done it, but it's pretty amazing because apparently we live in a time when if you disagree with someone, somehow, well, ask Juan Williams, somehow, you know, there's something wrong with you or you're going to get fired, you're going to lose your job. This president, you know, he picked out one of the Tea Party groups, American for Prosperity, by name to criticize them in front of people. Now, I tell you, that's not what my idea of a president is. No. My idea of a president is not to go out and say, you know what, if you disagree with me, you're wrong, I'm right, you know, you just take it. But anyway, we're going to fix that. We have to wait 2 more years for that, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, but we'll get to that. What we do on November 2nd is we solve the problem in the House of Representatives because you know we got a problem with Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, yes.
Now, Nancy comes from a district, you know, she was born and raised in Maryland, but apparently her feelings are more like that other coast. So she moved to San Francisco and fits right in. Fits right in. She has no idea what America's about anymore. 2 weeks ago, she said that the way we get out of this recession, her idea of a stimulus is what? Food stamps.
Uh-oh.
Nancy, you there?
You blew the speaker.
Nancy turned it off.
Yeah, Nancy turned it off. Aww.
That's right. Generator time. NPR
It's Halloween spooks.
Everybody move in.
They ran out of gas
There we
because
go.
the gas with that new cap and trade energy tax up to $7. So you got to watch it. So anyway, so we've got Nancy Pelosi going around famously saying that the way we're going to get out of this recession is food stamps. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, I just disagree with that. The way we get out of this recession is we free the American business job creator. And you heard from Donna, who creates jobs. You heard from her. That's the way we get out of this recession. Get government out of the way. Get government regulation out of the way. Get government taxation out of the way. You know, they're upset with me because I went to Annapolis 12 years ago. I took a pledge that I would never, ever, ever vote for a tax increase. And I didn't vote for any state tax increase in 12 years. And they run ads. It's unbelievable. They make the stuff up. They run ads. They say, oh, but he's going to raise tax 20. It's unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got to free our businesses from the shackles of government. That's the only way we get out of this recession. Barack Obama doesn't understand it. Nancy Pelosi doesn't understand it. And I'll tell you, here in Maryland, Martin O'Malley doesn't understand it either. We had a jobs report 2 days ago. And this is new math. Those of you who aren't familiar with new math, our unemployment went from 7.3 to 7.5, but if you go to the Department of Labor website, they say that showed an improvement. You gotta go, you have to read it for yourself. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. Because they created 8,000 government jobs. And they think that's the way we're going to get out of a recession. You and I both know every government worker that's added, you got to add 4 or 5 private sector jobs eventually to pay for it. Our unemployment's getting worse. They're fiddling while Rome's burning. We only have 10 days, 7 hours, and 30 minutes to take this country back. Not that my wife isn't counting. So your charge is we have less than 250 hours, ladies and gentlemen, and we have a chance to begin taking this country back. And we have to start it here in the 1st District because we get to send a signal to Nancy Pelosi to get back on that plane, this time a commercial plane, because she won't be Speaker anymore. Go back to California and stay there. Leave this country alone. We're going to take back the country, take back America, and it starts in 10 days and 7.5 hours. So I'm going to ask you all, and it's great to be here today. It's beautiful. We got a lot of work to do in 10 days because too much is at stake. This is the country that you and I love. This is a country that's worth working for and saving, and we simply have to do it on November 2nd. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here.